All right, I'm gonna bring on our guest here. Let me make sure y'all can see my guest.
Yeah,
NFL
I'm here. I'm
Mike,
here.
it's good to have you back. What's going on, my guy? You feeling?
What's up, everybody? Glad to be back on the show. Good to see you again, Zay, Leel.
How's it going?
It's going good, man. I mean, the NFL been hitting us crazy, man, with the free agency, man. I couldn't predict this, man. I don't know if Nostradamus did back in the day, but I ain't see it coming, bro. How you feel about NFL free agency, real quickly, man?
I mean, look around my set right now. This isn't. This doesn't look like a place of a peaceful man right now.
Oh yeah, I forgot, bro. You a Chargers fan, bro. So I know you out there camping out, bro. But it's all good. We're gonna talk about the Chargers in a few minutes, man. But we might as well get to the first topic here. We might as well start it off because man, Keenan Allen, speaking of the Chargers, okay, he's now a Chicago Bear. And the question that we do have right now is how does the Bears trading for Keenan Allen change our expectations for Caleb Williams' rookie season coming up? And Mike, you being the guest here on the show, the mic is yours.
I don't think it changes them at all, honestly. If you're drafting a quarterback with the first overall pick, you're expecting that to be your franchise quarterback and a top 10, hopefully top 5 quarterback in the NFL for 10, 15, 20 years to come. And those expectations haven't changed by adding Keenan Allen. Maybe the expectations of his rookie year have changed slightly. I would love to know your guys' opinion on this because I'm a little bit like on the fence about this move for the Bears. I think it could go very well and it could be very helpful to Caleb Williams' development, or it could go very awful and it could expose some of Caleb Williams' weaknesses. But what do you guys think about the effect on the expectations and that word specifically? Yeah. So when you sent this prompt, the expectations have not changed for his career and what they want to get out of drafting Caleb Williams with the first overall pick. But the path to getting there has changed.
Yeah, definitely. I would start this one off, right? When you talk about adding another wide receiver in Keenan Allen to pair alongside a already top 10, arguably wide receiver in DJ Moore. Now, I think already there was pressure prior to this move for Caleb Williams, being that this is a good situation to come into. And now you add Keenan Allen, and now it's an already good situation. Think about before this move. Right, you look at Chicago before Keenan Allen came to this team, and they're 7-10. I believe they won 7 games last year, and they had momentum. They won 5 out of the last 8 games, and they pick a number 1. And already, that's a good situation to come into if you're Caleb Williams already. But now you add another, not at the peak of his powers, but still a very good wide receiver, arguably had his best year last year. You could pivot that to opportunity with injuries. And now you get that guy to pair alongside DJ Moore, 2 guys that you can't really guard in man. You're probably going to have to play a lot of zone. Now, the expectations, I think, should go up a little bit more because it's like, okay, this is one of the best rosters as far as talent. And now they could build in the trenches during draft. Who knows after draft what's going to happen and how this team is going to look, not only from talent, but from being built from the inside out. Now it's like, okay, Caleb Williams, what we did with Justin Fields, what we bought for you with Keenan Allen, how we built this draft, how we built through free agency, I think there's going to be a lot of pressure.
I see what you mean now. So when you say expectations, you mean immediate expectations.
Immediate, like, yo, they
should be a 10-win team right away.
Yeah, they should. They probably should win the division. I think that's the expectation in Chicago right now is to win the division. Whereas a normal quarterback going number 1 overall, you just hope they show you flashes.
Yeah, and if that's the case, then I would agree with you. The expectations have gone up. Like even me right now, I don't expect them to beat the Lions out next year with a rookie quarterback, even if it is Caleb Williams.
Go ahead, Zay. The mic is yours.
Yeah, I think this is just my mind thinking. I don't think Ryan Poles has expectations for Caleb Williams to be anything of a division winner, or the Bears to be anything of a division winner, or even a wild card spot chaser. Like I think that this is a team that they've been hearing the noise, and I think they finally answered it. They haven't had talent around their quarterback, and now they finally have it. They understand that their offensive line is meek at best. Then it's not a good offensive line. And I think right now they put a talent around the quarterback to see what they have, but they know that their offensive line is still a weak spot, and I think there's something that they're going to build on moving forward because they're just going to build through the draft. and hopefully they get some offensive linemen later in the draft, and they build upon that. Maybe they draft an offensive lineman in 9. We don't know, but they're just going to try to build upon them to get the quarterback some protection, because now they can no longer say we didn't put talent around our quarterback. We put a DJ Moore, we put Keenan Allen, we got DeAndre Swift in the backfield, so we have talent around him. So now there's no longer the question of why isn't our quarterback producing because he can't get to the receiver. Now it will be more so, oh, we don't have the protection for him, which you could build through the draft. You could get a couple starting caliber offensive linemen, not only in the first, you probably get them in the second, third round, maybe, depending on the position. And that's, I think, their expectation is just to develop somebody finally, because the Bears organization hasn't developed a quarterback in a very long time. So maybe this is their opportunity to say, okay, we put talent around him. Let's see what he can do with the talent. And then if the pocket is closing way too quickly, we'll just know we have to pay for offensive linemen in the next offseason. But they did what they could in terms of bringing in a quarterback that Ryan Poles finally has hands on, and this is my quarterback from my regime. So let's see what happens.
Is he expected to win Rookie of the Year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he is.
Okay.
I think he is.
I don't
Especially
think so.
with the hype. I do think so. I think for me, just to add on to what we are talking about, I think it helps that Keenan Allen was actually in a similar situation with Justin Herbert in his rookie year when they was having that quarterback battle with Tyrod Taylor and Justin Herbert. Now, obviously, Justin Fields is not battling for anybody's job. He's on the Pittsburgh Steelers. We talked about it early on the show, but he has experience working with a rookie quarterback because he did with Keenan Allen, with Justin Herbert, even though he was in and out of the lineup that year, I believe. So I think he's bringing that experience with a guy like Caleb Williams. You're talking about a guy that knows how to find the spots and get open. And you look at DJ Moore, who was the other receiver, and he's played with multiple different quarterbacks, from Teddy Bridgewater to Sam Darnold to Baker Mayfield. So you take those two wide receivers that pretty much saw it all, they could really assist Caleb Williams' development instantly, automatically, because I think based on the move for Keenan Allen, and I want to kind of like backtrack and go forward at the same time. When I saw that they traded for Keenan Allen, I got my answer. I knew they were going with Fields. I knew they was going with Caleb, and they were trading Fields, right? Because when you think about it, there's a financial aspect and there's a football aspect to that. So let's start up with the financial. You look at guys like Montez Sweat, Tremaine Edwards, Jalen Johnson, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen as well. They all have big cap numbers. Keenan Allen is going to want an extension. Obviously, they're already talking about it. DJ Moore is going to want one as well. You got guys with big cap numbers that you got to pay. I mean, of course, it makes sense to reset the quarterback clock to get the benefit of a quarterback on his rookie deal. So I already knew the financial aspect was like, oh, yeah, they're going Caleb. But then you look at the football as well, and you look at the weapons. You look at the free agency. DeAndre Swift, what we know about him, he's great out of the backfield catching the ball. Obviously explosive, elusive, right? When you talk about Jared Everett, a guy that's from your former team, NFL Mike, he's known to be a pass-catching tight end. You talk about DJ Moore, pass catcher. You talk about Keenan Allen, pass catcher. So their new identity now is going to be passing the ball. They're going to be a passing football team. That's what they showed you with the moves that they made. So that's how I knew that they were going Caleb Williams, and it was evident. So yeah, I would leave us with that on my end.
Yeah, that's where I wanted to dig in on more, was the football ramifications of this and how this move, like I was saying at the beginning of this conversation, could go one of two ways. Let's go back to when Justin Herbert came into the league, for example. Justin Herbert came into the league. He was looked at as a guy that his weakness was his leadership. Everyone knew he had the big arm. Everyone knew that he could stand in the pocket, deliver throws, and take hits. Everyone knew he had the IQ. He was a freaking biology major and got his master's or some shit in biology. Like, we knew that this guy had all of the tools to be a successful quarterback in the NFL, but they shied away from him over Tua because of the leadership aspect. And Joe Burrow obviously had that crazy record-breaking year that season of college football. So when Herbert gets to the league, he has all of the skills and the strengths that fit Keenan Allen's game so much at this point in his career. A lot of people aren't realizing that Keenan Allen never had top-end speed to begin with. But Keenan Allen is not blazing by anyone anymore in the NFL. Keenan Allen's best strength and what Keenan Allen's been doing and why he's put up the numbers that he's put up over the last couple of years despite aging is he knows how to get open because he knows how to read defenses and run option routes. He knows leverage. He knows how to make the most out of even small amounts of separation. And Herbert's strengths are hitting those short routes with pinpoint accuracy on time in 3 seconds. Herbert's strengths are pump faking and then throwing down the field to Mike Williams and just throwing that ball up in the air. And I'm not saying that Caleb Williams can't do all of those things. I watched a lot of Caleb Williams. I'm a USC fan. His strengths are kind of more like that. When the play breaks down, I'm going to go baller mode. I'm going to go gamer mode, and I'm going to make some kind of ridiculous play, or I'm going to make some kind of phenomenal juke move on the edge rusher to give my receiver just a little bit of extra time to be open. In the NFL, it's going to come down to, can you hit receivers on time from the pocket in those windows? Yes, it's going to break down. There's going to be times he's going to have to do backflips and jump over people, but that's going to be on very rare amount of plays in a football game. Majority of them are going to be, you read the defense, Keenan Allen gives you a look, you better know what route he's running because he knows what route he's running.
Yeah, I think playing quarterback in the NFL is not only about the intangibles, it's about being able to read a defense and being able to go through progression. And I think what I like about Caleb Williams is that he knows not only how to manipulate the pocket, but as a passer. This is a passing league. No matter how people try to put that narrative, oh, you have to be dual threat. Yes, we want you to have the mobile ability, but I always think, scrambling and running out of the pocket, running for a first down should be the last resort, not the first. And I think when you talk about Justin Fields and the roster they was building, it probably wouldn't have had fit Fields either because he's not really good in the intermediate game, never really had success intermediate, middle of the field. It was more downfield and, obviously taking off as a runner. I think Caleb Williams would just have the interesting dynamic, plug in Caleb Williams onto this paper with these guys and see how that works out. But
with that being said, like where I was heading with it is kind of like how it could expose Caleb Williams' weaknesses to be more glorified if he can't make it work with Keenan Allen and they're paying him $20 million per year just because Keenan Allen is so reliant on the quarterback being on time. Like 90% of his production with Herbert is slants, hitches, corners, and he gets hit at the exact moment that he breaks, at the exact moment that he's open. On the same side, when he flipped to the other side of the coin, Keenan Allen can help Caleb Williams in so many ways in that department if Caleb Williams takes on and is a quick learner and comes into the NFL and is able to make it work with them. He's going to learn so much about reading NFL defenses and how to abuse them even without a receiver that has top end speed or crazy agility or crazy anything because he's 35 years old damn near. And that's going to be a skill that Caleb's going to hold for his entire career going forward. That's why I'm so thankful that Keenan Allen was there when Herbert got there. I feel like Herbert's game in the short to intermediate range has grown so much just thanks to this man on the screen right now. And now we have Josh Palmer filling Keenan Allen's shoes. He's going to be that medium route runner, and I have faith that Herbert's going to be able to make it work with him.
Real quick, I want to say something because it's about Caleb Williams, right? And I think I mentioned it a lot with the quarterbacks. It's not about who has the strongest arm, and I think they always make it a habit of trying to talk about who has the strongest arm in the NFL, and it's never about that. It's about timing. It's always been about timing. They don't call Tom Brady the greatest quarterback in the world because he had the strongest arm. It's because his timing was impeccable.
I think he's underrated in those regards.
And he was pinpoint accurate. It was what it is. Drew Brees. You talking about, he didn't have the strongest arm. Never did. But he was pinpoint accurate and his timing was impeccable. Like you said, Caleb Williams is a guy who wants to do home runs. He wants to be the flash. He wants to be highlight every single play. That doesn't work in the NFL. If anything, that gets you hurt in the NFL. And that's something that he needs to be mindful of. So if he's going to be the starting quarterback of this team, the receivers are going to get open on their routes, but his timing has to be impeccable. And one thing about rookie quarterbacks that we've seen in recent history, in a recent draft history, is that when they get rattled a little bit, their timing is all the way off. They don't even throw the ball anymore. They don't even try to make those throw. The only quarterback I can say in recent history who's been, when he's rattled, he still goes out with CJ Stroud. And he's the only quarterback. And it doesn't make sense how all these quarterbacks get rattled so quickly once they get hit once. That first hit, that's when they really feel it. Like, I don't know if I can get there. I don't know if I get there. And that's what we got to see if Caleb Williams can do.
Yeah, I think you're right, too. I think you're right. And I think that, sorry, Leel, if he does prove it and he does start to look really good early on in the rookie year, the Bears are in for a fun time because they do have the weapons. Like you're saying, Zay, he likes to bomb the ball down the field. DJ Moore is perfect for that. So the opposite of Keenan Allen, where Keenan Allen's going to be a short yardage, he's taking all that work. He's probably taking the volume. Once you come up to try and stop that, if Caleb Williams identifies it and he gets good at timing, like you're saying, he does have the ability and the receiver to then bomb the ball down the field too. It's gonna be fun.
And then you take in consideration, you have DeAndre Swift out of the backfield. So now you can make the living off the checkdowns as well. So I think they build a complimentary, roster around Caleb Williams. And that's why I think even if there's some lumps, on the start of the road before he takes off at the runway, there's going to be some positives as well. And I think bringing in a veteran receiver like Keenan Allen could enhance the quarterback growth. And that's why, the question is the way it is, because you think about some of the examples we've seen the last couple of years of quarterbacks getting top-notch wide receivers, whether it's through draft or through free agency, and the leap that they take, the Josh Allens, Stephon Diggs, Tyreek Hill, Patrick Mahomes being grown into that, right? And how Mahomes, as an example, how he's getting better as a football player, believe it or not, because he's learning to take what the defense gave him. And that's what Caleb Williams is going to have to learn how to do. It's probably not going to happen his rookie year. He's going to want to be on SportsCenter, top 10. But as he goes along, taking what the defense gives him is how he's going to be a really, really good football player.
That's the worry, man. It's all mental. But hey, we got to give a round of applause to the front office there in Chicago and Ryan Poles. They've done a masterful job. And remember, guys, they had the first overall pick last year, and they could have went quarterback. They could have already been impatient and said, we're in this spot. Let's take the quarterback now while we can. But they were smart. They were wise with what they did in that position. And I think that deciding to trade out of first last year will be a decision that changes franchise history for the Bears.
I want to play this clip before we move on this topic. I got to respond to this. It's from RG3. He posted this on X this morning.
I saw that.
I won't play it.
But Eli Manning and demand that the Chicago Bears do not draft him #1 overall. After everything that's happened with Justin Fields, can Caleb Williams really look at that and say, you know what? This is the organization that has my best interest at heart, and they're going to help develop me into the player that I want to become. Caleb Williams is on record saying that he wants to be legendary. He wants to rewrite history, and he wants to be the best that he can possibly be and win the most games he can possibly win. After the Bears took Justin Fields, the 11th pick in the draft, and turned him into a 6th round pick in the 2025 draft by trading him to the Pittsburgh Steelers, can Caleb Williams really look at that and say, you know what? Yeah, this organization is going to help get me where I want to go.
Yeah, I want to respond to that immediately. I like RG3. I liked him as a football player. Thought he was very talented. Brought that Michael Vick, Phil back into the league. But sometimes his takes is garbage. Sometimes he could be a little bit of an idiot. I don't know what it is with accountability with him, but I've seen it countless times to know that there's a trend that I'm seeing with him when it comes to quarterbacks and defending quarterbacks. And I understand in the NFL, there have been a lot of quarterbacks development that has been botched over the last couple of years. I can name you those quarterbacks, but I don't got the time for it. And I get that aspect. But there has to be a level of accountability. He did the same thing with Russell Wilson, recently, where he defended Russell Wilson. When Russell Wilson decided to leave a situation to go to a situation he thought he could make better, and he had his own office and put on the diva qualities and all that, Russell Wilson incorporated and all that, defended this guy. He's an idiot. This is the best situation for a rookie quarterback to come into, literally, not every situation as a #1 overall pick you could come into like this, where you have a 7-win team that literally has gotten better on paper and still have the draft coming up with 2 top 10 picks. Are you kidding me? Like, all right, fine. What team then? What team should trade for Caleb Williams? Is it the Commanders? The team that misdiagnosed your injury and ended your career? The Patriots that botched Mac Jones' development? No. Terrible take, but I'm used to it. Any thoughts on that?
That's exactly what I was about to say, Leel. I was about to say that exact thing. Is What are you talking about, RG3? If he forces his way to another team, the only option is the Washington Commanders, the team that ruined your career. Ruined it, ended it in one decision. Bad decision, by the way. You shouldn't have played in that game. You should have just waited until the next year and ran it back because you were the most electric player in football at the freaking time. It was very Cam Newton-esque, the run that RG3 was about to go on and Washington was about to go on if they would have kept him. Remember, they had Trent Williams in that team. They already had Alfred Morris in that team. That team was ready to just run over the NFL again the next season, but they wanted to try and go for it his rookie year, and it backfired. I didn't think they had a chance to win it his rookie year in the first place. So how can you sit here in front of a camera, RG3, and tell him that he should avoid going to one team to go to the team that ruined your career as a quarterback in the NFL in a very similar situation, drafted with a top pick? Also, there is no comparison to where the Bears were when they drafted Fields to where they are now. And there's no comparison to drafting the first quarterback off the board with the first overall pick in a draft versus the fourth or third quarterback off the board with the 11th pick in the draft. It's not the same situation that Justin Fields entered at all. And I think that if there was any doubt in Caleb Williams' mind that he wanted to go to the Bears would already know that. The Bears would have traded the first overall pick instead of Justin Fields. And we would see the signs that behind the scenes, there's rumblings that anything like this could happen. I see what he's saying because of the Cliff Kingsbury move, but I don't think people realize that Cliff Kingsbury is not convincing players to come play for him. He doesn't have that kind of power in the NFL.
Yo, you say before you get in here, another thing too. Justin Fields wanted to go to the Steelers. That's why they settled for the 6th pick. Okay, they had better offers. I'm pretty sure the Eagles, who traded for Kenny Pickett, inquired about Justin Fields, who's clearly the better quarterback. And guess what? They wanted to do right by Fields. So that's why they settled for a 6th-round pick. Okay.
Yeah, Fields is probably like, send me there, please. If you send me to Philly, I'm never gonna play again.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, I don't agree with this take at all. If anything, he's trying to basically tell Caleb Williams derail your career immediately. I don't see how a situation like Caleb Williams not forcing his way out of being the first pick helps him at all, because now the expectations are even higher, because the only way you could, that people even forget about that, is if he plays well, that he plays extremely well. And so I don't even think that's good. You know, it's not a good take. RG3, that's just horrible. You're derailing a kid's career. You're making his ego even more inflated by thinking he has the option to just have the power to say, yeah, I'm not getting drafted. I'm going where I want to go. That's not it.
Yeah. All right, we might as well move on to the next topic. Any last thoughts, or are we ready to move on?
I was going to say just one more point. I think that RG3 gets these takes from watching too many dumbass TikTokers, Leel. This seems like a TikTok take to me, and that's coming from a TikToker.
I understand the need to want to go viral. I understand we live in that era where it's about the clickbait and not the quality of the take, and I get that. But you got to do better than that, man. Like, and it's not even funny. Like, I don't even think he's doing it for clickbait when I think about it. I just think he really, in his mind, believes what he's saying. Because when you are not accountable, you start to believe your own delusion. Oh, they did this and they did that to him. No, Russell Wilson, it wasn't his fault. They treated him like dog shit. You start to believe your own delusion. It's like the female aspect, right? When you start to be delusional and never hold yourself accountable, you start to believe your own delusion. And I actually think that RG3 was not doing that for clickbait. I actually think he believes it because he's so delusional.
Yeah, I mean, even if he was doing it for clickbait, I appreciate you guys showing me that video, because now I'm going to clickbait his clickbait.
Literally.
I'm going to double clickbait him.
All right, let's move on to the next topic. My guy, Dujane, RG3 runs his mouth too much. He always has to have an opinion on everything, and sometimes he needs to shut his mouth. I agree 1,000%.
Please like and subscribe for all the up-to-date content. You've been slinging shows left and right, slinging content left and right. Please don't miss anything. If you do, like, subscribe, leave a comment, or leave a question, something you may want to answer, something you may have. All ideas are great ideas. Nothing's a dumb question.